to his place. She will rock you. She will knock you. Mama, you're a fat load, Alamo. Gonna have to use an airbag for a shirt someday. Wipe that food off your face. Give up the race. Bob Dole's gonna kick your butt all over the place. G.O.P. will shock you. G.O.P. will shock you. Sing it. G.O.P. will shock you. Everybody. G.O.P. will shock you. I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Figaro. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from his want from the tree. Imus in the morning. Well, the cold weather's here. He's got the file drawers open and showing us this sleeves bag from Inside Edition. All these pictures of me and Bob Dole and like Maggie Williams going through the Foster files. Get back in to make sure they're not taking anything. Plus, they've ruined my office. Sure. They come in to film something, they completely tear the office apart. Lazel, get back in here. Where are you going? You're not dismissed. I want you to go back and tell them to put my office back together now. Okay. And if they can't film in my office the way my office is put together, then we're not going to film. Get up. So they have 28 minutes to get my office put back together, or there's not. Even though Don Cricky's my friend, there's not going to be any Inside Edition anything. That's it. They have 28 minutes to put my office back together. That's ridiculous. First of all, they never said anything. They never said anything to me about they had to take the office apart. Look at the bird. They never asked me if they could tear the office down. They never did anything. They went in there and
shut up.
And you shut up. And they've got stuff all torn up. And damn it, I'm serious. They go in there. They have 28 minutes to get it put back together. And if I come in there at 10 o'clock and my office is not exactly as it was when I walked in there at 5 o'clock this morning, there's not going to be any Inside Edition. So get in there and tell them to do that. Shake a leg, Lisa. Well, I mean, that's ridiculous.
It's nuts. Now we're all scared.
I don't care.
On the next Inside Edition, this jackass, Don Imus.
No, I mean, that's ridiculous. It's fine if they say, do you mind if we tear your office apart to set up all of our equipment? I would say, no, that's fine. But they don't say anything. They tear it apart, and then I'm sorry I took the Lord's name in vain. I know I did that again. I'll talk, and they can film it. That's ridiculous.
Get that wheelchair back where I left it. Damn it. Move that IV bag over in the corner where I had it. No, that Gertie was over there.
No, don't touch that. That's Bernie's hairpiece.
Your mama. Lisa, wear my orthopedic shoes, damn it.
And then here's Lisa in there. She got the file drawers open them, showing the pictures of me and Clinton and me and Bob Dole and everything.
Look, he's here with a gun.
Lisa's ought to be putting on TV with you. There's a reason that those pictures are in the file drawers. We don't have them on the wall like every other fuck in the world. All right, here's me and Bob Dole. Here's me and Bill Clinton. Here's me and Hillary.
Dang.
Get out.
When he used to live with Rock Hudson. Dang, he looks alive in this one, doesn't he? Dang.
You know, it's always a mistake when you do something for a friend of yours. It's always a mistake, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
When you
friendship sucks.
You end up regretting it. What's the matter, Don?
The end result, though, will justify.
Why don't you point to Mike? God, how long? Here's one of the great football announcers. And if I point to Mike, at least towards you. I don't mean.
Tighten the whole thing on
Jesus, Don, what's happened to you?
Talk nice to it. Stand up.
Can I tell you, I'm not mechanical. Yeah, but I mean, at least you know enough to talk into the
I was an electrician one summer.
Yeah.
They looked at my work and they sent me for coffee twice a day. It was the greatest job anybody ever had. They saw I was a man that could kill myself with a screwdriver.
Mike Breen continues.
Enjoy, Mike.
That Yankees-Rangers game featured broadcast history. First female to broadcast.
Imus in the morning.
Well, when Vince Foster left us, they found him in the park. Should have been the I-Man out there laying in the dark. Imus, king of rock and roll here, son. Shut up. Calling in from heaven and just pulling your pud a little bit there, Jethro. Don't get bent out of shape, okay? Mr. Foster sure as heck didn't, did he? Laid out there like he had a coat rack for a mama. That'll be fine. I don't mean
mean no disrespect, but something is about a half bubble off plum on this whole deal, man. Well, first thing, of course, is the fact that putting the U.S. Park Police in charge of a big-time dirt nap investigation is about like putting NBC's Dateline program in charge of space shuttle launches. You know what I'm saying? A hunk of burning booster, baby. That'll be, like I said, I don't mean no disrespect, but funk that. Oh, no. So anyway, I'm looking at Letterman the other night. We got cable up here, you know. Right. And I got completely confused, man. I was under the impression that old Roy Cohn had died. But nope, there he was, man. Talking to Letterman about some dog what had eaten a damn parrot. No. Old Roy may not be dead, but he's obviously out of it.
No, that was not Roy Cohn. That was me, and I'm not dead.
Jesus, son. Hire a tailor and eat a sandwich, will you? Well, because the old boy I saw ought to have been rolling one of them IV trees along with him. You know what I'm saying? Well, hey, I hear you're taking a page out of the Elvis Presley marriage manual yourself, son. You know, drive along in your limo till you see one of them watch for children signs. Yeah. Pull over, toss a dolly out onto the sidewalk with a string attached, and bam, works every time, Holmes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, look, I got to get out of here, but not before I say something about a deal that's really got me irritated. The Beatles getting together again? Man, they are now what I would have been if I'd lived. Yeah. Old and stupid. Give it up, man. I wrote me a little tune about it, and I got John Lennon here to help me out. You know, he's the reason that there ain't never going to be no Beatles reunion. Let me see you now.
We hate you, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're over, yeah, yeah, yeah. You really suck, yeah, yeah. Die. I don't mean to do it in the dog. Just a walking bird dog. If you don't know how to do it, show you how to walk bird dog. Come on now, come on, come on. Imus in the morning.
Starting Friday.
Imus in the morning. Flashback.
Imus in the morning here on WFAN 102.7, where rock lives, with Scott Muni. Scott.
Well, gang, I think it's time to acknowledge a situation that we can no longer ignore. Picture a landscape teeming with tens of thousands of poor, mournful unfortunates, united by their tragic condition, wallowing in their own filth and smell. Acre after acre of desperate, pathetic waifs who appear to have been abandoned by a callous creator, seemingly deaf to their doleful cries. Oh, the humanity. Rwandan refugees? Nope. Generation X pant loads at Woodstock 94. After all the hype and glory, the big one is finally here. But I hate to tell you, gang, you can't go home again. Seems to me that it's an exercise in futility trying to recreate the magic of the original festival when, after all the dust is cleared, the only thing these two happenings will have in common is Joe Cocker, the band, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Santana, and the fact that neither one of them made any money. Sorry, kids, but you can't bring back the 60s. And I'm not sure you'd even want to. The week the first Woodstock took place, the #1 rated television show was Hee Haw. I don't think we want to reawaken that kind of sensibility, do we? No. I can knock out a few of my teeth and move to a trailer park all by myself, thank you. I don't need Buck Owens and Junior Samples to inspire me to do it. I can't blame the youth of America for wanting to experience the same sense of belonging we all did in Bethel in '69. It defined our generation. For 3 days, we were all able to conform by the virtue of our nonconformity. We didn't fit into the molds of traditional society, so we invented our own. Now, I know all you Xers feel alienated by the world of the 90s, but you can't justify your existence by trying to suck off our nostalgia. You can't put Porno for Pyros and the Rollins Band on the same stage as Bob Dylan when the only thing they all have in common is none of them can sing. Because with Dylan, it doesn't really matter. No. You can't get back to the garden and disavow the material world when Pepsi and Haagen-Dazs are sponsoring the event. Don't try to duplicate our experience, gang. Learn from it. We did. We know it's a different world. The week of Woodstock 69, O.J. showed up for training camp with the Buffalo Bills, and police were trying to solve the murder of Sharon Tate. We're no longer the same people we were then. That's why the Bethel reunion didn't happen. Not that we wouldn't enjoy seeing Richie Havens and Judy Collins again, but you can't get good reception on your cellular phone up there.
What are you in the morning?
The schmuck you are.
No, kid. Anyway, you have any more news? Just a couple of things. The Wall Street Journal.
Imus in the morning. Flashback.
All right. right, here now with observation and comment on headline issues of the day, Imus and Washington's senior political advisor, the late Richard M. Nixon.
Ground control to Major Dick. Ground control to Major Dick.
What are you doing?
Playing Apollo 13. What do you think I'm doing? Take a look at this Saturn rocket, J.D. Are we talking Major Dick here or what?
Shut up and put that away.
Sorry, didn't copy that last transmission. Imus in the morning. Like to comply, Dono, but this is the most life Little Nixon seen since Big Nixon stopped living. Say, you want to know how it got this way?
No.
Drug testing. The FDA needed somebody to test them, and I volunteered. This baby's the result of my use of Caberject, which has just been approved for the treatment of impotence. Impressive, wouldn't you say?
Well,
I can cut glass with it. Whoa! Rigor mortis wasn't even this good. I'm going to the beach, stand with my back to the sun, and find out just what time it is on this thing.
that will be enough.
Hey, you want to giggle? Check out the disclaimer on the package. If an erection persists for longer than 6 hours, patients should seek emergency medical assistance. Right. Like a 6-hour boner would ever be considered a negative side effect. Forget the doctor. Contact Hugh Grant for a few of the numbers on that little black book of his.
That will be fine. Can we move on?
Smashing idea, old chap. As the next target lined up in the curly crosshairs of the old Dick Scope today is Hugh Grant, or the Englishman who went up Sunset Boulevard and almost came down with a sexually transmitted disease. Who knew the Limeys had more than just a stiff upper lip, hey, J.D.? Jeez, who's managing his career? Joey Buttafuoco? Although, quite frankly, I don't understand all the controversy. Charlie Sheen's listed on Heidi Fleiss's Power Book about 900 times, but you don't see him going on Leno or the Regis and Kathy Lee show to apologize. What's the matter, Hugh? Afraid you'll become the Fatty Arbuckle of the 90s? Say, you don't think his mea culpa has anything to do with the fact that every Politico between Portland, Maine and Portland, Oregon has been walking the morality in Hollywood plank, do you? Well, as they say in Hollywood, that is a wrap. Another look through a Dick's eye. Both the Dick and the eye belonging to me, Dick Nixon, dead former president of the United States. That's the stiff brown kind of dead president, as opposed to the crisp green kind you can use to hire a hooker with.
Fine. Leave David Cohn alone. I like him. He's a terrific pitcher, and he's a great guy. Yeah, I mean, he gets the ball over the plate and they don't hit it. So it's getting old, huh? I think it is.
Unlike the Ted Kennedy joke. Ted Kennedy drowning.
Well, I mean, David Cohn didn't murder somebody. Why don't you give Fred's number again? He choked his chicken. God, get over it. Jesus. People want to hear about Cohn masturbating. I don't think they want to hear about David Cohn masturbating.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
What's happened to you? Well, nothing, but I'm tired of hearing about the guy pounding his pot. What do I care? Have you ever? Of course.
Sick with a poster of Macaulay Culkin in his room.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
All right.
If Jesus came to your house to spend a day or two, if he came without warning, I wonder what you'd do.
Imus in the morning.
I'm up on the roof of my...
Yeah, Imus in the morning. In your shorts, 2020 sports.
Here comes Cal Ripken onto the field, and he waves his hand. 2,130 consecutive games. Good morning, Mike Breen with sports. Cal Ripken Jr. has done it. He's tied Lou Gehrig's all-time record for consecutive games played. The Orioles shortstop reached a milestone last night in Baltimore's 8-0 victory over the Angels, and Ripken admitted that he's tired.
It was exhausting today. It was great. There's nothing better than that. But mentally, they can be a little exhausting.
Here's what I don't understand. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mike.
That's quite all right.
And I like Cal Ripken. But I heard Dan Rather say tonight, and all of each...
In the morning,
Andy Rooney is troubled by a recent essay he wrote and appears to be having some second thoughts. Andy?
I don't know what's the matter with me. I wrote a column a while ago in which I was pretty rough on my boss, Larry Tisch, the fellow who bought control of CBS 9 years back. In my column, I really took Larry apart. Didn't come right out and say it, but implied that he turned this place into the broadcast equivalent of a Philippines whorehouse. He was the chief pimp. I balanced my thoughts about Larry to a degree by talking about his wife, Billy.
Yeah.
I said Billy Tisch was a charming, vivacious woman. Larry, I wrote, can't be all bad with a wife like that. Well, as I said, I don't know what got into me when I put the whole piece together. Savaging Larry,
commending Billy.
Right.
I'm having some real pangs of conscience.
Uh-oh.
I let my frustrations with this chicken outfit show through in putting pen to paper. I was dishonest, and I feel awful in misrepresenting the facts. So let me correct that column's inaccuracies, okay? Okay. Billy Tish is a hag.
No.
Probably a drunk.
Shut up.
She looks like she's got scurvy, which is probably accurate because I suspect the only solid food she's had in the past 25 years is ice cubes. She has the charm of Michael Tyson's armpit.
No.
And to actually hook up with a human deformity like Larry Tish, she doesn't have the taste of Yasser Arafat's old lady or Christy Brinkley. I mean, think for a minute.
Yeah.
Can you imagine betting Larry Tish,
No.
the man who murdered William Paley and turned CBS into a cat house? What in the name of heaven must that be like?
Yeah.
Imagine taking off all your clothes and wrapping yourself around a 6-foot-long wet wiener. They probably have his and hers bags to put over their heads, don't you think?
Well-
I wonder if she's a screamer, because you know sure as heck that he's a grunter. Looking at that Telly Savalas head of his, I'd also lay odds that the bastard has a blowhole up there and is half fish or something.
No.
Which probably wouldn't bother Billy. You know how a person tends not to be aware of their own B.O.?
Yeah.
I used to see her at parties around here. If she walked up behind you, you'd always turn around expecting to see a waitress standing there with a tray of anchovies on crackers. But no, it'd just be Mrs. Tish.
Oh, come on.
Fresh from a roll with the murderer, more than likely. What a god-awful pair. What a god-awful company. I'm glad Westinghouse bought CBS. Not only does the second worst company in broadcasting deserve the first, they make freezers.
Yeah.
And if we're lucky, both Tishes will be ready to be stuck into a couple of them before Diane Sawyer can get another chance to get her facts wrong, which would be next week.
Yeah.
I wonder if there are any kids out there who can draw Larry Tish's penis.
No.
Tough job. I mean, where would you start?
Since I was a kid at school, I messed around with all the rules. Apologized then, realized I'm not different after all. Me and the boys thought we had it sussed. Valentino's all of us. My dad said we look ridiculous, but boy, we broke some hearts. In and out of jobs, running free, waging war with society. Dumb blank faces stare back at me, but nothing ever changed. Promises made in the heat of the night, creeping home before it got too light. I wasted all that precious time and blamed it on the wine. I was only joking, my dear, looking for a way to hide my fear. What kind of fool was I? I could never win, never win. Imus in the morning.
In 1919...
That's what we're looking for here.
I guess it's working out fine.
Yes, it is. Oh, my God.
So it's great.
Yeah. You know what? Your Hugh Grant parody, he turned into Rush at the end.
Pardon me?
Your Hugh Grant parody,
Yeah.
he was Hugh Grant, and then at the end he turned into Rush.
Well, you know, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on the people who perform in this program, and it's difficult for them. Many of them, they do many voices, and sometimes they get them confused.
Don't make breakfast for the kids, Marianne, okay?
Siskel and Ebert all of a sudden?
Yeah, really. You don't see us coming to your house and telling you you make lousy oatmeal, do you?
Yes, I do. I have siblings who tell me that.
Anything else interesting in your life?
Oh, yes, I used to sew your wife's blue and white polka dot bloomers.
Imus in the morning.
Here now, in brief, some of the headlines developing in the Imus and Washington Network newsroom. Program host David Brinkley and senior reporter Walter Cronkite have been suspended. With Rush Limbaugh, I'm correspondent Don Imus, sitting in our IIW anchor seat until permanent replacements can be found. But now some news. In Washington, the difficult dilemma of how to respond to the bloodshed in Bosnia-Herzegovina remains unresolved today. The United States wants NATO to authorize airstrikes against Bosnian Serbs if they continue their siege of Sarajevo. The NATO allies, however, remain hesitant at best. In Congress, some are saying it may be time for the United States to act unilaterally. It may be time for the United States to act unilaterally. It may be time for the United States to act on its own. One of the particularly impassioned voices is that of New York Senator Alphonse D'Amato.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the f***ing deal here? What is the f***ing deal? It ain't just Soviet f***ing Union or something.
No.
It's the army of Bosnia.
Yeah.
It's Radosam Karakovic, the guy with the f***ing Lyle Wagner hair, who's the head of what? Bosnia. How hard is this? If Clinton can't do it, send in Jeff f***ing Gillooly. Do I have to f***ing do everything around here or what? Yo, what a f***ing day.
New York's junior senator, Alphonse D'Amato. In other news, Cuba's publicity-desperate President Fidel Castro, interviewed by Vanity Fair magazine, says, among other things, that he does not believe the stories that have suggested President Bill Clinton was once a womanizer. Vanity Fair quotes the Cuban leader as saying Hillary Rodham Clinton is just too fine to trigger infidelity in a man. Castro elaborated on his thoughts about Mrs. Clinton when double IW microphones caught up with him at a nude beach near Havana.
Yeah, man, I do her. Mainly because I'm old and can't be so finicky. I know she's smart, but that part bores me.
Right.
If I wanted a woman for her vocabulary, I'd stick my in a dictionary. You know what I'm saying, man?
Wonderful. And finally, at this hour, news of medicine. In Washington, controversial Surgeon General Dr. Joycelyn Elders, laughing off critics who've dubbed her the condom queen, carried out, in fact, something she had threatened to do in jest when she pulled a condom over her head today in front of the Health and Human Services Administration building. The moment that began as a lark but ended tragically was captured by an Auckland, New Zealand documentary crew in Washington to film drive-by shooting. Double IW News obtained the audio from that film, and this was the terrible moment as the Surgeon General unrolled the condom over her head and neck.
I don't mind being called no condom queen if it'll get our young people to use them.
Right.
Check this out. I put this condom over my head. There you go. Remember, Dad, and he say that he forgot it. He say forget it. Hey, I can't read, man. Hey, how we get this motherfucking thing on my head, man? I'm dying. I can't read.
And the president gives Barbra Streisand's concert performance a thumbs-up review, man.
Well, how can you like Elvis and Barbra Streisand? Huh?
How do you resolve that?
Makes no sense.
He should be caned.
Maybe he's hosing her.
Oh, you know, that's not... Now, see, that's
there
what,
you go.
That's what
That's
Mr.
exactly
Shapiro's
what
talking
I'm
about.
talking about.
Can't you say uplifting things about the president?
I can't think of any.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
First Lady says the stress of her public life has taxed every fiber of her being. That's her quote.
Well,
She's like Mary Jo Buttafuoco, except she doesn't have a bullet in her.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
if you're looking for...
Copyright 1995, Infinity Broadcasting, all rights reserved. Imus in the morning is a presentation of WFAN and Westwood One Entertainment. It's just sad.
This concludes the entertainment and revenue-generating portion of your broadcast day. We now return you to the rest of your local programming schedule, an indecipherable embarrassment of broadcasting incompetence that compelled the station to subscribe to the Imus in the Morning program in the first place. The entertainment and revenue-generating portion of the broadcast day, the Imus in the Morning program, will resume Monday morning. Check your local listings for time and schedule.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning at 10 o'clock. This is John Minko.
Michael.
This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Knicks basketball.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Well, good morning to you, and how you be at 10:05 and 35 seconds on a Friday morning on the Fan, New York City. Steve Summers here, you there. Dove Kramer and Jeff Hughes on the other side of the glass.
What happened to the Eddie Scazzeri?
The Eddie Scazzeri, he's off on Friday. He's doing work in his garden with wife Marion. 718-937-6666 until Richard Neer at 1 on the Fan New York. Well, there's a pretty good with a Friday schmooze until Richard Neer at 1 o'clock here on your Fan New York. Stick around for the flash, the update, the 2020, the whole thing on the Fan New York.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan, WFAN.
Rabbi Mark Gelman and Father Tom Hartman. So how are you, Father Tom? You're over the Pope's visit and all that?
The Pope's visit and everything. I was thinking about what Thanksgiving is really all about.
One of the most moving things we've done, going to a soup kitchen and we ask people who have nothing, what are you thankful for?
Sure.
You were talking about
Shut up,
people who have risen above the muck, even those.
Leave me alone.
What is one of the reasons?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
There's a story in the Gospels where Jesus heals 10 lepers. And after he heals them, only one returns to say thank you. And I think today is a reminder, or tomorrow is a reminder, that we're called to say thank you.
Get those other 9 lepers, that's what it means to me.
Right.
Bring them around.
Well,
where do you guys think you're going?
The lepers we've healed, we would just like to say, drop us a note. It would be all right.
Imus in the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It is 12 o'clock. I'm Joe Tollison. 15 seconds Friday afternoon on the Fan, New York City. Want to thank Randy Lang, Dove Kramer for being Jewish, Russ for not being here, and Mike and Jeff on the other side of the glass for being Gentiles. Thank you all for listening and calling the whole thing on the Fan, New York.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan, WFAN.
Hey. Okay, well, I won't try that. I can do that about once a week and spend the rest of the week gargling with salt water to get my voice back. I don't know how Russo does it. Well, Russo is not doing it today, or it meaning sports talk. He might be doing it or something else. But Chris and Mike are off today, as you might expect, taking the day after Thanksgiving. I'm Richard Neer.
Were you born in Springfield? No, I was born in Joplin, Missouri. The FM's a classic rock station, right? Yes. And your grandmother used to be on the station, May Kennedy McCord. Yep. 1,000 years ago, I man. Oh, yeah, a long time. Sure. Playing a little Led Zeppelin, I guess. Or maybe it was before that even. I think she predated John Mayall and Cream.
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
So we've been looking for tapes of Grandma McCord, but right. We have some, but I don't think they suit what the I-Man was really looking for. It sounds to me like somebody's suppressing these tapes. They've got to be around.
Knowing the McCord family tree is probably more like the Furman tapes.
Imus in the morning.
Pretty good, Bernie.
Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
Well, I got a great 24. Rolls on.
First down throws. Slant, and it's intercepted by Aaron Glenn. And he holds on to the ball at the 30-yard line. Glenn's first National Football League interception.
The Jets win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Good morning. Mike Brain with sports. Paul Olin with the call. Jets a big, big win. Jets, 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 Jets. As the drive towards the Super Bowl resumes, a 16-10 victory over the Seahawks in Seattle. That Coach Rich Kotite knows what the keys to victory are.
When you know what the hell you're doing, you have more of an opportunity to...
I hate him. I don't hate him. I don't hate anybody, but I mean, I dislike him. Yeah, intensely. This guy used to be a sparring partner for Muhammad Ali, by the way. And candidate for Coach of the Year. Well, you can see why that's not working out. How did Elway do yesterday? Can we get to that when I get to that? Who do you think you're talking to?
Wait a minute now.
You pencil-neck geek.
Well, I'd like to wrap up what I'm doing now.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Jets have won one of their last two. They're 3-9 for the season, same as the Giants, who lost to the Chicago Bears 27-24. Giants cornerback Philippi Sparks summed it up best.
Oh, man. I mean, there's no excuses, bro. I mean, we just didn't play together again. I mean, I had a terrible day.
37-yard field goal with 7 seconds left won it.
We might want a cutback on the crack. That might help us.
Tough day for the Denver Broncos and John Elway. They get whacked in Houston by the Oilers 42-33. Broncos now fall to 6-6 on the season.
Big win for the New England Patriots. Beat the Bills in Buffalo 35-25. How did that happen? Head coach Bill Parcells said he thought the team played very well today.
I think the team played very well today.
Patriots now 5-7, and they're still in the playoffs. Just stop here. Time out. Why are we saying exactly what the person on that little tape cut you have says? I didn't have time to preview it. I'm sorry. Pardon me? I didn't have time to listen to it ahead of time. So I don't know what he said. Well, what were you doing? You've been here for an hour. I had a couple of things I had to do. Like? To read some basketball magazines and stuff. Well, all right. It sounds stupid. You realize that? No, I don't, but that's all right. You don't realize that it sounds stupid? No, I don't. Well, play it back. All right, wind the tape back and play it for him, Lou, and I'll illustrate to you how dumb this sounds. It sounds really stupid. I don't think Bernie and Lou thinks it sounds stupid. Well, do you, Bernie?
Pass, man.
Oh, okay.
Sounds ridiculous.
I'll remember that.
It sounds really
coming up for that big Christmas bonus.
It doesn't sound funny.
Fair way I brought Bernie around, threatening him with a Christmas bonus. Right. That's really nice. You got him, too, didn't you? Let me hear, Lou. In Houston by the Oilers, 42-33. Broncos now fall to 6-6 on the season. Big win for the New England Patriots. Beat the Bills in Buffalo 35-25. How did that happen? Head coach Bill Parcells said he thought the team played very well today.
I think the team played very well today.
Patriots now 5-7, and they're still in the playoffs. Just stop here. Don't you realize my voice was that deep? Kind of like that.
It's asinine, man.
A good word, asinine. Well, you have your opinion, I have mine. Mike Breen continues. How about the collapse of the Dolphins? They lose again, 36-28 to the... You said, won't we? Yes, I guess we will. Okay. I like to start the week off this way. Well, happy Thanksgiving. Here we go, Lou. Well, Alabama? No, they don't play in the pros. They play in the college ranks. Maybe it'll be Atlanta. 40-37 in overtime. Steve Young returns, and he throws a whole mess of touchdown passes as St. Louis wins 41-13. All right, everybody's entitled to a mistake. What you've made about 9 so far. Everybody's entitled to about 9. Okay, fine. But where it gets worse for Cleveland. They lose to Pittsburgh. 20-17, the Browns now 4-8. They've dropped 4 in a row. That's 67,000. Imus in Washington, Senior Military Affairs Advisor, the late General George S. Patton, Jr.
At ease, give me your undivided attention. I have some good news and some bad news. Let me deliver the good news first. We are going in on the ground in Bosnia. 1st Armored Division out of Germany. M1A1 tanks, Bradley fighting vehicles, the whole 9 yards. At ease, at ease. The bad news is we're taking all of that beautiful machinery in there to enforce a peace. Boo! Boo! All right, as you were. I understand your disappointment. You might even say I feel your pain, though somehow that phrase sticks in my craw. Yeah. Anyway, we had us the opportunity here, people, for a pretty damn merry little war, until a bunch of sons of bitches with pablum where their brains ought to be went all wobbly in the knees about it. Of course, the loser who leads them has a history of trouble with his knees knocking, as you're probably aware, but it hasn't had a great deal to do with combat. But that's another matter. How did we come to this sorry state? Yeah. Let's look at the principles involved in the decision. Private, since this is about the only place you're going to get to fire that weapon, squeeze off a few rounds to get the feel of the thing toward those lights there, and then give me the overhead projector. Cease fire! Cease fire! Thank you, soldier. Brings back some great memories. God, but I love it so. Anyway, let me flash these slides in front of you, and let's see how many of these individuals you can identify. Ready? Yep. Go!
Bill Clinton, Bill Perry, General Sheldon Bealey, Barney Frank.
No, that is not Barney Frank. That's Warren Christopher, but it's a natural mistake. All right, one more.
Richard Holbrook, Assistant Secretary of State, Christopher's butt boy.
Well done, and very revealing, people. I think we can deduce why we're going to go into Bosnia with, like, party favors from the welcome wagon. The decision was made by an individual whose only military experience was putting gays into it. A Joint Chiefs Chairman for whom English is a second language, 2 cabinet members, Perry and Christopher, who looked like they were found clinging to each other in front of the bubble inlet of a jacuzzi, and lastly, Holbrook, who used to do the wild thing with Diane Sawyer. Yes, you may make gag noises. and who finally wound up marrying Caughty Martin, a cast-off of the illegal immigrant anchor person Peter Jennings. And that, people, is the crew who decided that 600 years of gangs of towelheads disemboweling each other's grandmothers could be stopped by 3 weeks of talks in Dayton, Ohio, for the love of God. We don't need an exit strategy, people. We need an entrance strategy. And write this down. 1 shot of bourbon and aim for the turban. Thank you for your attention. That is all.
General George S. Patton Jr. here, the Imus Morning program at 29 half the hour. What?
Holiday time.
The morning program, Rush Limbaugh. Good morning, Rush.
My friends, ticking down the clock as we hurtle toward the end of the millennium, spending the last few years until inevitable Armageddon, and I don't mind telling you, Armageddon a little impatient myself.
Shut up.
I am Rush Limbaugh, intransigent icon and ruler of the reactionary right. I don't know what it is about the holidays that seems to bring out the absolute best in people. Check this out. Don Imus, one of my most stalwart competitors, nay, adversaries, Imus sent me, with his compliments, a 30-pound turkey, cooked to perfection, carved and put back on the rack, dressed with the most delicious oatmeal stuffing I have ever eaten. I'm telling you, this stuff was positively scrumptious. Some secret ingredient, apparently. I don't know what it is, but it seems to have a subtle ham flavor. I had my crack staff call the I-Man to get the recipe, and he was uncharacteristically tight-lipped, although he finally admitted that he did, to use his words, pork the turkey a little bit. I hate being right all the time. I, too, have a warm and gooey feeling inside me this holiday season, and I find myself in a more reflective mood than usual, pondering the many ironies and enigmas. That's the E word, by the way. I was thinking of how much Colin Powell reminds me of Bill Clinton. Colin Powell, who just wanted to be president, but unfortunately has a wife who doesn't want to be first lady. And Bubba, who unfortunately wants to be president, but has a wife who doesn't want to be just first lady. Why, the world of Dr. Seuss makes more sense than the world of Bill Clinton. In fact, his recent standoff with Congress could be a cat in the hat book itself. Can't you see it? The overblown, bleeding heart sitting atop his stack of vetoes in a candy cane striped top hat, gorging himself on green eggs and ham. I am Bill. She is Hill. We will not yield to Capitol Hill. We would not, could not show compliance. For to the poor we've pledged alliance. That newt's a hoot in his pursuit of budget cuts that I dispute. I will not budge. I will begrudge it. I will not pass Gingrich's budget. I am a man and not a mouse. I will not let it pass the House. I would not, could not let him bear down Medicaid and Medicare. With retirees I build rapport. You ask what for? I want 4 more. So on those seniors I will dote. Before they croak, I want their vote. More up to this. He came into the world from the right side of town, Georgia boy who was big and round, and his mom and dad thought they were being cute. Because even though he was their pride and joy, they christened him unlike all the other boys. I tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Newt. He dedicated his life to the GOP. Wanted to be speaker since the age of 3, dreaming one day he'd wield power absolute. He's a guy who spends a lot of time in the fridge, and it's no wonder he wants to bring back the orphanage. You would too if your parents named you Newt. He learned how to add and how to divide, married his math teacher, and multiplied, but when he went to subtract himself as a matter of course, it was slimy and low rent, the media said, to visit his wife in her hospital bed to get her to grade his paper for a divorce. Well, it may be because he hails from the South, but he's got a little problem controlling his mouth, making statements that the media thinks are crude. Sometimes he pushes the envelope, like saying everybody at the White House is smoking dope, but he don't mean no harm. That's just old news. When he went to D.C., Mr. Gingrich swore someday he'd be there on the Capitol floor, chucking out liberals with a big self-satisfied sneer. And it took almost half a century to get Republicans back in the majority, but when it happened, he said, "My name is Newt. How do you do? All you commies out of here." All you atheists
had better beware. School children's heads will now be bowed in prayer, beseeching the Lord to get rid of the poor and the queer. Because Newt and his Republican protégés are going to fix this country in just 100 days. I'm so proud of him, I'm on the verge of tears. If I had only one life to live, I'd still do it all as a conservative. But if I ever have a son, I think I'm going to name him Bob or Jesse, anything but Newt.
14 to the hour here in New York. Met a few folks who could remember this one on Lefty.
10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, there was someone killed neath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all agreed that the slayer who ran looked a lot like
Imus in the morning.
Oh, I get it. All right, let me talk. Get out.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
Rob Bartlett and the Bartletts.
Thanks, baby. I've already got more trouble than I need.
Somebody called Delbert and asked us to get in his car and drive to Cookville.
Thanks, but no thanks, baby. I've already got more trouble than I need.
Hey, Delbert, you on the radio? Did you know that? Get in your car. Go on down to Cookville.
I don't want no lonely, lustful woman's irate husband after me.
Imus in the morning.
What if nobody beat? It's a terrific style matchup game.
Coming back.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
Yeah, I said if Bernard or Charles ever started beating on me,
He'd look like a turkey burger.
because you could never get him to stop. We'd wind up on court TV, and your picture would be there, and there would be a commentator saying, "We're unable to show you these gruesome nature." If your radio sounds fun in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning. Here now from Manchester, New Hampshire, the aforementioned Tim Russer. Good morning, Mr. Russer.
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
How are you?
I'm okay. A rough morning. There's been another fence jumping at the White House.
There has?
Yeah, White House Chief of Staff Leon Panetta tried to get out.
Well, why did...
I'm actually at the Manchester, New Hampshire airport at the Hertz rent-a-car counter. Hey, who's that running by?
Imus in the morning.
Shecky Russer.
Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
To drive your machine...
In the morning, 2020 Sports.
The four-man rush. Evans throws right sideline. Intercepted by Shaw. The rookie from Stephen F. Austin picks it off. That's the fourth turnover for Oakland tonight. The third interception, and that does it.
A Monday night football game with no touchdowns. Good morning, Mike Brainwood Sports. Jack Buck with the call. Nothing more exciting than field goals. And that's all the fans got last night in San Diego. Chargers beating the Oakland Raiders 12-6. Chargers kicked 4 field goals. The Raiders kicked 2.
Oh, that dumb, goofy Bobby Beathard there on the sidelines pumping his fist with a 5 and 6 team or whatever they are.
5 and 7.
Oh, well, whatever. 5 and 7.
Yeah, but still, come on. Raiders started quarterback Vince Evans. At 40 years old, he's the oldest quarterback in the NFL. He hooked up nicely 3 different times with Dwayne Harper. Unfortunately for Evans, Harper plays for the Chargers. 3 interceptions for Harper.
Well,
Chargers now 5 and 7. The Raiders have dropped 2 in a row. They're 8 and 4.
that's a speed bump for him.
NBA last night, Orlando Magic win again, beat the Pistons 96-95. Pistons had the ball down 3 in the final seconds. Guard Lindsey Hunter had a chance to tie it with a 3-pointer, but opted for a layup at the buzzer, and the Pistons lost by 1. Well, Magic guard Anthony Hardaway was asked if he was surprised Hunter didn't take the 3.
Yeah, I was.
Penny in the Magic with a strong win thanks to Lindsey Hunter. Portland lost at home to the Chicago Bulls 107-104. Utah won in Phoenix 114-105. Dog racing news at Shoreline Star Park in Connecticut. Another dog named after a celebrity. First there was the greyhound named Don Imus. The latest now, Marcia Clark is the name of the newest dog. Meanwhile, the owner of the dog, Don Imus, says he named his dog after the aging DJ so that it would attract attention. William O'Donnell is the guy. He says he doesn't really listen to the I-Man,
but the guys in the kennel do, and the dogs listen to him all the time, says O'Donnell. I hope this guy's dog dies. Oh, now wait a minute.
Come in.
That'll be fine. Sorry. And that's sports. I'm Mike Breen. I'm Imus in the morning. Well, I got a letter on headline issues of the day. Imus in Washington's senior political analyst, the late and very dead Richard M. Nixon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Imus in the morning. As I'm sure you know, Donald, there are major events of enormous consequence to cover in our brief time here, so let's kick it, eh? Issue 1, it goes without saying, President Clinton's address to the nation on the very difficult Bosnia matter. Now, you're a keen observer of world affairs yourself, so you followed all this intently, I know. The question, did Mr. Clinton make his case? Are Congress and the nation persuaded today?
Well, if you're asking me, I feel...
Well, I'm not. I'm not asking you. I had no intention of asking you. I was posing a rhetorical question, you impatient, overbearing moron. Anyway, J.D., being no stranger to difficult Oval Office addresses myself, here's what I didn't hear this president say that I felt he needed to say to establish a real rapport with the American people.
What was that?
I quit. 2 words, very simple and unmistakable in their intent. I quit. Or the more existential, I suck, therefore I quit. You know, I envision a crop of bumper stickers as one ramification of the Bosnia folly I dude, such as this one on Bubber's limo. I didn't go, why should you? Or the more general, when he burned his draft card, did he inhale? Oh, this is just great. A toenail fungus from Arkansas, who ducked a war half the country thought was none of our business, is now going to order troops into a war that the entire country thinks is none of our business. And if you think they're going to go over there and not get into a war, then you're inhaling. Oh, well. Issue 2, the Gang of 7. Weicker, Bradley, Sneezy, Sleazy, Daffy, and Paul with a silent T. The big report in Time magazine, Dono, that your friends, Senator Bill Bradley and former Governor Lowell Weicker, are joining in an effort with 5 other prominent politicians to plan an independent run at the presidency. Oh, boy, who knows what these guys are smoking, huh? Because included among them is Paul Songus, a nice enough fellow, but, excuse me, shades of Dukakis in the tank. A wife who constantly wants a corsage, 4 roses, and he sounds like Elmer Fudd. Not happening. No. And as though that wasn't bad enough, also in the group, as God is my witness, is who? Gary Hart. That's who. And yet they think they're going to initiate some sort of credible effort here with a guy on board. That's unfortunate given Hart's history. With a guy on the team. Who was at ground zero in our first really big bimbo eruption. I don't think so. Not when one of the principals is an individual who'd rather be at the bottom of a Calvin Klein kids file.
That'll be fine.
No, as you often observe yourself, I do. It's as though these people just missed the message of the 94 elections and continue to revolve in their own private little David Bonnier, Dick Gephardt, Eleanor Clift, PBS, Fantasy Island. What an ordeal. Issue 3 and out about the latest Princess Diana matter, Dono. And I intend no disrespect to the royals, but the only way the Norwegian condom ad featuring the princess could have been made more palatable, in my view, is if they'd pulled the damn thing down over her head and then stuck a tiara on it to shut her up. There you have it. Issues in a Dick's eye this morning, J.D. The eye of this Dick, Dick Nixon, deceased former president of the United States.
When I was in England, I experimented with marijuana on Tennessee, and I didn't like it. And didn't inhale, and never tried it again. I experimented with marijuana, and I didn't like it.
Sugar pie on a bunch.
Have mercy. Do you know someone who loves crossing now?
Since I was a papoose, I have heard the many stories of the mysterious stranger who rides out of the darkness to avenge all that is evil. The manly man born with the sign of the 3, son of the wolf who licks himself. At first, I thought it was just legend, but I have seen with my own eyes the incarnation of the well-hung spirit, the rugged man who rides tall in the saddle, the man they call Tres Huevos.
Tres Huevos!
We're not ready for you yet.
Okay, people, take 5.
It is hard, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. It is difficult in a time when courage is at a premium to be a man with extra balls. But in the town, there is much trouble. Many of the older settlers are in need of medical attention. And the mayor, the man my people call Many Knees Knock, is powerless to surmount the protests of Sheriff Newton, the one we call Fat Whitehair. The mayor and the town doctor have come to our village, where Tres Huevos is an honored guest, to seek his help. I have brought them to his teepee. Listen, and you can hear their furtive pleas.
So you see, Mr. Huevos, I want to pay Doc Sawbones here to treat the old-timers with money from the town community chest.
It's going to be a rough winter, and I can barely afford all the mustard plaster them old folks is going to need.
Wise of the aged. Does not the hatchling honor and respect the elder, Hawk?
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, Sheriff Newton's fought me every step of the way, trying to sell snake oil remedies to the townspeople, turning them against me.
He who does not hear the babbling of the brook shall not drink the waters of its wisdom.
What exactly is he saying?
I don't think he's feeling like himself after last night's harvest festival. He had quite a lot of the peyote pie.
Please don't make me shoot old Yeller Paw.
Sounds like the cat of sickness to me. Let me have a look at him. Drop your chaps here for me, young fella.
The mighty oak is only as strong as the rocks that sit upon its roots.
Now turn your head and cough. Suffering sarsaparilla. I'm going to need 2 hands here.
Just because it didn't make you miners buy me dinner, don't think I'm always this easy.
Tres Huevos.
Tell me you love me, Miss Kitty.
Out of the night comes a brightening side. It's the man they call Tres Huevos. Tres Huevos. He's the hero with guts and the surplus of nuts. The manly man they call Tres Huevos. Tres Huevos. As strong as a buffalo nickel. Tres Huevos. The man with the extra testicle. Tres Huevos. Tres Huevos.
Simon of Chile R and I am Imus of the morning. Jeff Greenfield's agreed to appear on the program.
Great. From his wife, and the British media have hounded him since, so he's getting the bodyguard. Apparently breaking up with his wife was hard for him to do. And that reminds me of a song.
Now don't sing, Mike.
Do down, doobie, do down, down. Breaking up is hard to do.
No.
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
First of all, I don't know what scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th,
Especially when they only had one.
Particularly when they only had one, thank you, Mike, has to do, how that carries over to another ball game.
It doesn't. No.
I mean, that's just an idiotic question. Who asked that question?
Well, it's obvious. It was a woman.
I know that.
Say no more.
I just don't think we need that from either one of you. And obviously, both of your wives are not up listening yet, are they?
No. My wife's up, but the vacuum cleaner's drowning out the sound of the radio. It had better be.
Imus in the morning.
Yeah.
Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
I'm Mr. Washington, Senior Military Affairs Advisor, the late General George S. Patton, Jr.
At ease. Give me your undivided attention. I have some good news and some bad news. Let me deliver the good news first. We are going in on the ground in Bosnia. 1st Armored Division out of Germany. M1A1 tanks, Bradley fighting vehicles, the whole 9 yards. At ease, at ease. The bad news is we're taking all of that beautiful machinery in there to enforce a peace.
Boo! Boo!
All right, as you were. I understand your disappointment. You might even say I feel your pain, though somehow that phrase sticks in my craw.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had us the opportunity here, people, for a pretty damn merry little war, until a bunch of sons of bitches with pablum where their brains ought to be went all wobbly in the knees about it. Of course, the loser who leads them has a history of trouble with his knees knocking, as you're probably aware, but it hasn't had a great deal to do with combat. But that's another matter. How did we come to this sorry state?
Yeah.
Let's look at the principles involved in the decision. Private, since this is about the only place you're going to get to fire that weapon, squeeze off a few rounds to get the feel of the thing, toward those lights there, and then give me the overhead projector. Cease fire! Cease fire! Thank you, soldier. Brings back some great memories. God, but I love it so. Anyway, let me flash these slides in front of you, and let's see how many of these individuals you can identify. Ready?
Yeah.
Go!
Bill Clinton, Bill Perry, General Sheldakos Bealey, Barney Frank.
No, that is not Barney Frank. That's Warren Christopher, but it's a natural mistake. All right, one more.
Richard Holbrook, Assistant Secretary of State, Christopher's butt boy.
Well party favors from the welcome wagon. The decision was made by an individual whose only military experience was putting gays into it. A Joint Chiefs chairman for whom English is a second language, 2 cabinet members, Perry and Christopher, who looked like they were found clinging to each other in front of the bubble inlet of a jacuzzi, and lastly, Holbrook, who used to do the wild thing with Diane Sawyer. Yes, you may make gag noises. And who finally wound up marrying Caudy Martin, a cast-off of the illegal immigrant anchor person Peter Jennings. And that, people, is the crew who decided that 600 years of gangs of towelheads disemboweling each other's grandmothers could be stopped by 3 weeks of talks in Dayton, Ohio, for the love of God. We don't need an exit strategy, people. We need an entrance strategy. And write this down. 1 shot of bourbon and aim for the turban. Thank you for your attention. That is all.
The late General George C. Patton Jr. here on the Imus in the Morning program. If you're going to be in the New York area over the holiday.
What happened to all those great Jewish blues singers from the 60s, huh? Remember Roomful of Jews? The Jews Project? The Jews Magoos? The Moody Jews? Little Shlomo and the Rabbis of Soul? I woke up yesterday. I didn't know what to do. I lost my yam, now I can't go to shul.
Imus in the morning.
I've been talking to think for a long time. I really don't think. I think the team will be back in there fairly quickly.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
The Jets want to make it.
Imus in the morning.
Imus in the Morning here at KRZY in Albuquerque, New Mexico with Scott Muni. Going over to the home base later to pick up some pink light bulb. Scotzo.
Well, gang, 1994 is history. And as we're faced with the fact that it's a mere 5 years until the end of the millennium as we know it, I think the words of the great Bob Dylan are appropriate. The times they are a-changin'. Even as we speak, that sausage gravy biscuit-eating Gingrich is like Marlon Brando in The Godfather, hard at work putting his contract out on America. Thomas Jefferson sleeps with the fishes. Newt's New Year's resolution, take an America raised on the milk of human kindness and put it on a dairy-free diet. As I reflect upon our present situation, I have but one thing to say. How the hell did this happen? Well, all of the marches, protests, and sit-ins we staged during the 60s, establishing our generation as a political force, finally paid off. We put the first baby boomer in the Oval Office. But then that Barney-looking Bubba single-handedly managed to swing the pendulum back to the other side. Made everybody hate Democrats so much that a chimp could have run on the Republican ticket and won. And by the way, quite a few did. How else could somebody named Pataki end up governor of New York when the only experience he has is being mayor of Hooterville? Bill Clinton seemed like the perfect standards bearer for our generation. He was anti-war. He certainly embraces the concept of free love. He's also been quite an effective role model for today's youth. Only 2 years in office, and now they don't trust anyone over 30. But when he said recently, with pride, that by the year 2000, the United States will be the 3rd largest Spanish-speaking country in the world, all of us who once boycotted lettuce to support our exploited Chicano brothers and sisters thought, there goes the neighborhood. And I think therein lies the problem. It's not Clinton who's at fault, it's us. As we've grown older, the age of Aquarius has made way for the age of acquiescence. The aforementioned migrant workers we once championed, we now see on our way to work only as the annoying illegal beaners cashing their welfare checks at the bodega. Where we used to believe that war is not healthy for children and other living things, we now realize it can actually be quite profitable if you own the right stock. Our ban the bomb buttons have been replaced by the bumper stickers on our Mercedes that read, nuclear power is a safe and expensive alternative energy source. We've become grown-ups. We watched Woodstock 94 and thought we were never that naive. Well, guess what? We weren't. We were worse. Because at least Generation X already knows everything sucks and they'll never make a difference. It took us 30 years to get it. Clinton never got it. But how much you want to bet it doesn't take Newt Gingrich the whole 100 days? And by the way, Newt, while you're in a pork-cutting mood, you might want to think about cutting out all that bacon.
All right, here now on the Imus in the Morning program, one of my favorite blues singers, blind Mississippi white boy Pigfish Dupree, with a nap to pass blues. Of course, you know what this means, don't you, Fish?
What'd that mean, boy?
Means we'll be getting a Mexican to sing these blues from now on.
58 cents an hour.
$1.25 we're paying you.
Well, there ain't no joy in Texas. That Mickey Mouse-eared midget is downcast. They done count the votes in Congress, and there's one billionaire who is aghast. Thoreau ain't no happy camper, 'cause the North America Free Trade Agreement passed. He'd been bitching and a moaning about how NAFTA was a lousy deal. The downfall of the country and all the jobs in Mexico would steal. But Mexico won and Ross lost, so pull down your pants and let us hear you squeal. He was so damn smug on TV, on that Larry King debate, disrespecting the vice president while being inarticulate. Now take them bar graphs, maps, and flow charts, and your cranky attitude. Drop your drawers and please bend over while Mr. Gold gets rude. Now we're trading with the beaners, and so Ross Perot's demeanor's a mess. It only goes to show you cheap labor win every time over avarice. But when you hear that great big sucking sound, it's really Bubba saying, hey, Ross, baby, suck on this. Excuse me while I reduce this here tariff.
That's the first time the word avarice has ever been used in a blues song, don't you think?
Probably.
Yeah. Blind Mississippi White Boy Pig Feast you free here on the Imus in the Morning program. All right, it's time for the news, and here with that is Don Cricky. Did you want to... It's really interesting, as I've pointed out several times this morning, Don is reading the news. He looks like Inspector Clouseau here with...
I need that deerstalker's hat on, like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, you look like he's got a big magnifying glass because Don does not want to wear reading glasses. That could be a bad day.
That could be a bad day. Yeah. You know it's going to be a bad day when your blind date shows up and it's your ex-wife.
That's
it's like you said once, even worse if it is your wife.
I said that. That must have been years ago. Obviously, it was years ago.
New York Senator Al D'Amato says there won't be any character assassination when he gavels Whitewater hearings into order today. And people began raising the character issue when speaking about Senator Edward Kennedy after an incident that took place 26 years ago today, Chappaquiddick. In the local news, commuters from New York City's northern suburbs still fear that at any moment, Metro North trains will stop running.
Too bad we don't know somebody who was there.
Yeah.
At Chappaquiddick, you know.
We could talk to him or something.
Maybe just get some insight into what... Maybe somebody who was at the party, or...
Surely there's someone. Somebody who Kennedy didn't want to drive home. As a matter of fact.
Well, whatever, but...
Drunk as he was. I think you'll stay here. There'll be a bus along any moment.
The following is a paid political announcement by the senior senator from the state of Massachusetts, Edward M. Kennedy.
Hello, my fellow Bay Staters. For the past 32 years, I have served you with faithful devotion in the United States Congress, working tirelessly to improve your life and the lives of your families. Now I stand at a crossroads that is new to me. I am having to
campaign.
Yes, thank you. To campaign for re-election to an office that I believed was mine by original right. While I refrain from crass characterizations, the latest polling suggests you people are trying to screw me at precisely the time when you should be doing everything you can to help me. The depth of my dilemma is best demonstrated by the appearance of my opponent, Mitt Romney, on this very radio program, as Imus invitations normally are only extended to candidates with a near insurmountable lead. Clearly, something must be done, and done now. I've been criticized for presenting what some construed as negative advertisements against Mr. Romney. I deny that. In fact, that's why I engaged the services of a private investigator so that I could best dispel any negative campaign information unfairly arising against my opponent. And that is why this campaign will have no comment on information we've learned indicating a blood sample recovered from Mr. Romney's car is consistent with that of Nicole Brown Simpson. Come on. Or that Mr. Romney was videotaped last week in the company of Marion Barry smoking crack cocaine. Further, while my brother proved back in 1960 that one's religious beliefs should be excluded from a political race, I, as you, must wonder aloud about Mr. Romney's Mormon church affiliation in light of this item discovered in the personals column of the Boston Globe, brought to my attention by columnist Mike Barnacle. And I quote, "Hi, polished white entrepreneur, handsome, intelligent, adventurous churchgoer, seeking 14 white females. Object, marriage. Signed, the mid hits the fan. My friends, being your senator is about all I've ever known. My family's wealth having provided me a refuge from any real work. If turned out now, what could I do? Drive a taxi cab? No. I don't see that as a viable option for Ted Kennedy. No. Become a marriage counselor? Unlikely. Open a scuba school? I don't think so. 10 bar? My hands shake so much I'd bankrupt the place. No. You must return me to the Congress for a 7th term. And so, I implore you, don't pass the torch on November 8th. For Christ's sakes, ask not what Ted Kennedy can do for you. Rather, ask what you can do for Ted Kennedy. Anything else just won't wash.
Senator.
Oh,
He's doing fine. How's his health? That I don't know.
He's not looking like Manute Bol or anything.
Yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to know. I think he's pretty much status quo. Oh, good, okay.
All right.
So,
good to hear.
Yeah.
Go to another strip joint. They'll give your wife AIDS like you. If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
I'm into the yacht race deal.
It doesn't get any better.
Why would I? I mean, you can't get me on a boat at gunpoint. No, but it's fun to watch from a distance, I imagine. It is. They are fun, aren't they?
Yeah, it is.
Too bad you weren't on the Achilles Laurel.
Get into a body bag.
Too bad I wasn't on the Achilles Laurel. Well, that's very nice.
Imus in the morning.
I hate green. That's one thing.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Are you looking to buy the
24s? Rolls on.
Hawks outshoot the Knicks. Good morning. Mike Brain with sports. Shocking result from Madison Square Garden last night as America's team, the New York Knickerbockers, through their 5-game win streak, come to a halt. They lose in overtime to Atlanta 102-97.
It doesn't get any better than if you get up in the morning and you find out, one, that Kentucky lost to UMass and that the Knicks lost in overtime. I mean, anything else can happen. And it's a great day from that point on.
My car was stolen. I don't care.
It doesn't make any difference. Rick Pitino and Kentucky lost to UMass.
Yeah.
And the Knicks lost in overtime. It doesn't get any better than this.
Patrick Ewing was asked why they lost.
I don't know what the reason is.
Well, Ewing was not at fault. He had 35.
Wow. Well, that's the problem. If you let somebody else shoot, fine. How many did he miss? How many did he put up there?
A few.
Well, sure he did. What was his shooting percentage? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Well, aren't you the play-by-play guy for the Knicks?
Yeah, I am.
Don't you get a little stat sheet from old Robinson? What's his guy's name?
Harry Robinson.
Harry. From Harry? Is Harry still with you?
Yeah, he sure is.
How's Harry doing, by the way?
He's doing great. He's the best in the business.
I'd be loving Harry.
So Harry, proud about Harry.
Harry's a brother that loves the I-Man, doesn't he? Well, have they come up with a new name yet?
No, they're having a contest.
Yeah, I know that.
I want fans to write in with their...
I liked Bernie's idea, the Washington crack pipes.
The Timberwolves have a 2-game win streak. They obliterated the...
Everybody cut up into the defense. Everybody was playing more offense that they were supposed to, moving the ball, getting the shot at the right time. And we play as a unity, and it really helped us.
Lo Felipe has been at St. John's now for 2 years. Do you think he could maybe go to a class? Oh, my God.
The linguistics major had 21 points last night. And that's sports. I'm Mike Breen.
It's 23 after the hour. Well, I was whining about losing the truck at
I bet you could buy a gun in that crowd.
What makes you say that?
But here's the thing. Usually the offspring of these famous people are just, dumber than the royal family, but not in this case. Jesse Jackson Jr. is a nice kid, smart kid. I like him a lot. Well, I like him a lot better than his corrupt father.
By winning the nomination in the overwhelmingly Democratic district,
Jesse Jackson Jr. is the odds-on favorite to win next month's special election for the seat that was vacated by the now former Congressman Mel Reynolds.
Keep hope alive. Absolutely, man. So the big deal went down to CBS.
Now this is WIN. Good. For the 3 WCBS News Time. Hello, you're on WABC. Hello, you're on Hello? Anybody there?
Imus in the morning.
I'm up on the roof of my house.
Morning Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Hey, Bubba, I'm bored. Let's do something.
Well, how about we go out to lunch, baby?
But, we just had lunch.
So, that's never stopped me before. Come on, I'll take you to my favorite family restaurant.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Hooters.
Hooters is a family restaurant?
I've been there so much they treat me like family. So what do you feel like eating, baby? Little Chinese, Italian, French? How about a Japanese dish?
Japanese at Hooters?
She's a bartender.
Cool. So do they call this place Hooters because, all the babes that work there have, really big hooters?
No, it's because they're all smart like owls.
Really?
No, but that's what I tell Hillary.
Cool. Bring on the big-breasted beer babe.
Well, there's been a few changes at Hooters lately, babies. The EEOC has made sure that there aren't just big-breasted beer babes anymore.
That's cool. Kids with petite sweater meat should get jobs, too.
Well, no. I meant they have to hire men now.
Homos at Hooters! Homos at Hooters!
Calm down, babies. They're not homosexuals.
Oh, good.
But they do have big breasts. Dudes with big boobs.
So, when do you start working there?
After the election.
Hey, listen, Bobby. Buddy, I was in the morning program. That Brain listens to him every day when he drives home. So, and Ned's got a newspaper column and a bunch of stuff. Doing commercials, and he's got a...
Imus in the morning.
Hey, Bubba, why the long face?
Well, I've just begun sending American troops over to Bosnia to help the peacekeeping efforts there, B.S.
Why'd you do that?
Well, I'll never forget something Roosevelt said during one of his fireside chats.
What was that?
He said that if your neighbor's house is on fire, you should lend him your garden hose.
Fire! Fire!
No, Beavis, I think he meant we should help our neighbors whenever we can. We have to fight fire with fire.
But, I thought you just said that you're going to lend him your garden hose.
That's just a figure of speech, Beavis.
Oh, so is this like another Vietnam deal?
No, I believe in Bosnia we can succeed because the mission is clear and limited.
So does that mean you're going this time?
Oh, yeah, Beavis. I'm going to resign the presidency and join the army. Jesus, are you stupid?
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're going to fight fire with fire in Bosnia?
Yep.
And, give the hose to the United States?
Well, I wouldn't put it that way, Beavis.
Oh, yeah? Where would you put your hose?
In your butt, you little jerk.
Baba's a homo! Baba's a homo! Baba's a homo!
Imus in the morning news time. Notice you just walked in for John Cardinal O'Connor over from the Archdiocese with the New York Law Numbers. Good morning, Cardinal O'Connor.
Good morning, God bless. I understand your brother Fred will be in town this week, Imus Navarre.
Yes, he will. Friday.
But when you two are gallivanting about in the discos, I don't think anyone will mistake us for the Baldwin brothers. Two sun-dried schmucks, be Jesus.
I don't think that's helpful here.
You take away the wig and the plastic surgery, and Fred looks like Helen Gurley Brown in orthopedic shoes, be Jesus.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Yes, get this, Imus Navarre.
Yeah.
What do you call 100 lesbians with rifles? Militia Etheridge.
Imus in the morning.
Idiot.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Well, 3 or 4.
Before 6.
We're trying. A little shady on both sides.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Adrian.
1, 2, 3. Imus in the morning.
All right. Here's a good idea. If you can't get a hold of Fred or if you're sick of hearing about it, how about buying a mattress for somebody? Call Dial Mattress, 1-800-MATTRESS.
In your shorts, 2020 Sports. Hello there, everybody. This is Charlie Ming with Imus in the Morning Sports.
The Hornets will just pass this one out. Crowd gets on its feet here in Charlotte as the Hornets will defeat the Knicks. There's the buzzer. Final score from the Charlotte Coliseum.
The Hornets 115, the Knicks 105.
That was soon to be replaced. Imus in the morning sportsman. Racist bum. Mike Breen on FAN. Mike, I hope you get a job in Charlotte and stay there. I heard they welcomed the worst singers in North America down in North Carolina. Rumor had it that Breen was going to sing the national anthem, but there was fear that the crowd was going to throw up. Knicks and Breen lose 115 to 105. What a shame. In other games around the NBA, the 76ers stink. They are an absolute disgrace. Losers of 8 straight. Atlanta 106, Philly 81. This was not a basketball game. This was the Atlanta Hawks workout video. Detroit has not won on the road. Boston beats the Pistons 196. Good. San Antonio beats the LA Clippers 105-86. Good. The Lakers beat the Phoenix Suns. What's the matter with Phoenix? They're 6-7. LA wins 107-96. By the way, a fan at halftime hit a half-court shot to win $21,000. So what? And Portland topped Golden State 112-98. Warriors defense taking pictures. In the AHL, Devils beat Colorado 4-3 in overtime. Philly beats Florida 2-1 in overtime. Hartford, Tampa 2-2 in overtime. Chicago, Vancouver 2-2 in overtime. By the way, under the category, is this ridiculous or what? ESPN analyst Barry Melrose said that Vancouver would benefit from the injury to Pavel Bure. Who let that guy out? Get him out of there. Washington, Anaheim 2-2 in overtime. Would somebody win the game? What is this delay? New York Rangers 5, Buffalo 3. Not in overtime.
Well, I don't
St. Louis 5, Montreal 4. Not in overtime.
Fine.
And Calgary 5, San Jose 3.
Yeah.
Not in overtime. And oh, by the way, I called up the Winnipeg Jets ticket office, man.
Yeah.
I asked the guy, what time does the game start? You know what he said?
No.
What time can you get here? College basketball saw no upsets on Wednesday. The best game saw number 2 Kansas beat number 15 Virginia 72-66. It's too early to take college basketball seriously. In baseball, we have a trade. Seattle trades third baseman Mike Blowers to L.A. for 2 unknown minor leaguers that Baseball Weekly is still trying to locate. I'm Charlie Min with Imus the Morning Sports.
And Charlie, where are you from?
Who let me out?
No, I just mean, where are you from originally?
New York.
Are you?
Yeah.
And you worked in Albuquerque?
I love Albuquerque.
And
What do they get us? KRST?
I don't know what station. Now, some late-breaking developments we're following in the Imus in Washington Network newsroom.
I'm David Brinkley, host of this program and my influential weekend effort on ABC. Commentator, autobiographer, and on, joined as always by our regulars, who basically are nothing. Mere pinpricks on the exposed buttocks of life. Walter Cronkite, Rush Limbaugh, correspondent Don Imus, to name just a few. Now, the news. In Chicago, a stunning father-son political drama is unfolding. The 30-year-old son of Jesse Jackson, Jesse Jr., has won his party's primary race to fill the congressional seat vacated when Mel Reynolds was caught masturbating at the wheel of his Cadillac, trying to amuse a young whore at his side, an act considered highly impolitic, even in the topsy-turvy politics of the Windy City. The 2 Jacksons, father and son, appeared together at the younger Jackson's victory party, where it quickly became clear that the elder man, eclipsed completely by Louis Farrakhan as a valid leader of America's black population, is viciously envious of his son's success.
Yeah, I hope you choke.
I got hope.
You're making me mope.
I got hope.
Get caught selling dope.
I got hope.
Yeah, I'm off the scope.
I got hope.
Anybody got a rope?
Yes, bad blood indeed, it appears, between a fading father and a rising son. Sad. Overseas, yet another magnanimous gesture from a resurgent President Bill Clinton, who reiterated at a stop on his European trip today that he will accept full responsibility for dispatching American troops to Bosnia. Will this man ever be able to give enough of himself? Here's how the president put it for IIW microphones.
Hey, baby, you want to go out?
hang on just a minute there, Di. Yeah, you can put it all on me. I got big shoulders, like a couple of foot lockers. It's the only thing military about me, but I got them. Y'all can give me the responsibility. No, that's all right. Don't thank me. It's just the kind of guy I am. Hey, anybody got the words of that Marine Corps tune? Hold my calls, I'm gonna zoomer, whatever it is. I always like that one. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Come here, Daddy. Oh, you look so good.
Hey, how about throwing up for me, huh?
The administration also has announced that Mr. Clinton, after looking at a map and seeing that Germany is not really all that far from Bosnia, has canceled his visit with the troops there, and instead will return home Saturday and invite some of the soldiers on duty at the White House to come in for a drink.
Meanwhile, back in the States, California, Crystal King, wife of Rodney King, whose videotaped beating by Los Angeles police led to the 1992 riots, has filed for legal separation from her husband. King pleaded innocent to beating his wife last month and spoke to IIW microphones about Mrs. King's allegations against him.
I ain't never laid a hand on her. She got anything on videotape? No, she don't. Bitch set me up. Can we all get along? No? Okay, then can I get a drink? Some crack or something? I don't get them police to beat me up again. Give me some more money.
Talk to you about Howard Stern. Good morning, Howard.
Hey, in that catalog, any hemlock?
I don't think so.
I hear you're going to do one of those happening remotes this Friday at the Museum of Television and Radio.
Well,
that's where you belong, in a museum. Behind a pane of glass with a little engraved plate at the bottom. Shock us, jock us, really suck us. If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning. So you're going to give away a car, huh?
Well, yeah.
Your personal car?
Yeah.
Gee, what's anybody going to do with a hearse?
Imus in the morning.